Hello everyone, thank you for joining today's webinar. I'm Raja, your presenter and Head of Mobile Marketing for .com Infoway. I'm here to discuss with you guys on the tactics on acquiring user base for mobile apps based on the hands-on experience we had with a lot of mobile applications. And I'm quite delighted to have a large group of attendees on board. So here is a bit about .com Infoway. DCI is a leading provider of offshore IT's outsourcing solutions to the businesses across the globe. In an ISO 9001-2001 certified multidiscipline professional IT services company, DCI provides enterprise solutions that include software solutions, web solutions, mobile app solutions, internet marketing, and a whole range of IT solutions and products to the clients. Mobile app marketing is our forte. We have used proven marketing strategies to design and execute a perfect launch for all kinds of applications. Our understanding of each and every App Store environment and ranking algorithm helps us to provide mobile app developers with the best solutions to make their apps stand out from the other mobile applications in the market. With our experience, expertise, and customized mobile app development solutions, we have achieved millions of downloads for our clients, with many apps even making to the top charts. So we'll get started with the session now, and once the session is completed, you are welcome to start submitting your questions, and we'll open up for a Q&A session in the end. If you would like to ask any questions, please use the GoToWebinar console. Just enter your question and I'll queue it up for the discussion today. So judging by the attendance, I can see that a lot of you are quite eager to get started with the session. So without any further delay, let's get started with the webinar. So .com Infoway was established in 2016, and here are some of our other ventures, which includes Global Mobile App Summit and Awards, and Advertisement, our mobile ad network, and goes the Appswell magazine, Startup 360 magazine, and Galata Media. This is a quick introduction on that. So here is my quick profile. My name is Raja and I have 9 years of hands-on experience in internet and mobile app marketing. So I've been into this mobile app industry and my role is primarily in devising the marketing strategy for apps. So it's a typical product management oriented approach is followed throughout the phase of the marketing campaign. So this is what we are going to discuss in today's session. So to improve the visibility of your mobile app through ASO and PR, performance advertising, building user base with social media advertising, referral marketing, driving quick spike of downloads through search advertising, advertising outside web using traditional channels, calculating the LTV to strategize the long-term success for the app retargeting. So this webinar is structured in a way that people will get to know how they can acquire users for their application with the various channels involved and some interesting statistics around the world. So in the next 25-30 minutes, I'll be talking about the above topics. So once we are done, there will be a Q&A session. You can drop in queries during the webinar and we'll try to answer each of your queries during the end of the session. Else we'll send you the detailed response via email and also share them in our social networks. So now let's get started with the topic in hand. So improving the visibility of the mobile app through ASO and PR. So that is what we have in hand right now. So here are some interesting stats you would have already known about the importance of the search in the App Store. So ASO is the key to make your app discoverable in the App Store. So since you are battling with about 2.2 million apps in the Google Play Store and 2 million apps in the Apple App Store, it's essential to make your app searchable. So rightly said by Mr. Ankit Jain, Head of Search and Discovery at Google Play, for an average app, search actually makes up the vast majority of the Insta ads. So moving on to the next slide. So metadata of an application includes the app name, keyword, description, screenshots, icon, and all the information which is submitted in the App Store by the developers. So all the metadata, including keywords and the app name, should be taken care of to increase the searchability and the click-through rate. Description, videos, and screenshots of the particular application can increase the conversion ratio. So since September 2016, Apple has limited the number of characters in the app name as 50. Earlier it used to be 256, and they have reduced the characters for the app title. And as you know, Google Play already only supports up to 30 characters for the app title. So you need to ensure that the right keywords are included in the app title, because apps with keywords in their title rank an average 10.3% higher than the one without the keyword. So it's better to be in the top 5 of the results of an average search keywords than in the top 100 of an highly searched keyword. So that's quite important to choose between the keywords based on the keyword ranks and then the searchability of the particular application. So localization is very crucial in your conversion ratio and the user engagement for the application. So metadata is always important, and since 2016 Apple has actually limited the number of characters, and headlines are always among the most important A/B tests and create a major impact on the conversion ratios. So the screenshots, app promos, and walkthrough videos in any app store description allows the user to see your app in action. So that's very important to optimize them. So local listing and localization of your keywords for different locations is prone to boost downloads by 767% in certain cases of the experiments conducted. Then comes the PR activities. So PR activities are also form an integral part in the promotions. So we have to work on unique app positioning, identifying the key journalists and pass on the information about the app to them. You can consider providing pre-launch app build to the press, and distributing the press release to the targeted media outlets can always help in building the exposure for your application. Contacting niche bloggers and asking them to write about the topic can actually help a lot. For example, you're developing a recipe application and reaching out to an cooking blog can always help in reaching your target customers and asking them to download your applications. Forum marketing is about marketing your application in forum discussions. Creating and initiating a discussion and then participating in a discussion can always help. And then setting up an interview about your application and the kind of problems which your app can solve can always help in getting more exposure for your application. Then comes the YouTube video reviews. Video reviews are being published for mobile application by channels who review mobile applications in a regular basis. With their established user base and the subscribers, the reach for your app review video can help in getting more exposure as well. So here are the KPIs that you need to be having in mind. So if you're going to measure, if you're going to have installs as your goal, what you need to measure is this cost per install, retention ratio, lifetime value of your customer. And if your goal is engagement, you need to measure the number of app sessions, retention rate, daily active users, and the K factor, the average number of users each active users introduces to your application. So if the goal is in-app purchases, please measure revenue, average revenue per user, and then conversion ratio. So these are the things which you need to consider as the KPIs of your campaigns. So then comes the performance advertisement, both incentivized and non-incentivized installations. So in general, people think that the incentivized installs are sin, and however, you should note that This might work in certain segments and not for others. Rewarding an user can be a bait to ask them to get started with your application. There are not only installations, campaigns you can run by asking users to earn coins. It's not only the real money and people used to provide for the in exchange for rewarded installs. It can also be an uh, level unlocking for watching and video. So video advertisements in the incentivized campaigns have worked out a lot in a lot of campaigns which we have worked on. So incentivized installs are good when you need to get a large volume of users and the demographics are kind of people who are gamers and stuff can actually help in getting a lot of audience using the incentivized installs. And also incentivized installs are quite cheaper and like has a good CTR. It's kind of like about 5 times lesser than what it is comparing to the non-incentivized install. So it's crucial to blend your campaigns to make sure that you get quality users and you only segment to the exact audience. And according to the Fixus recent survey, 57% of the customers from non-incentive campaigns are converted into the loyal app users, while 24% are to the incentivized campaigns. So incentivized campaigns can also bring in a lot of user base for your application. Then comes the social media advertisement. It's quite crucial to actually build your user base with social media ads and so the channels have been growing every time and then. So earlier it was just Facebook. Now Instagram ads are helping a lot, and Twitter and Google app installs can also help. You can see some of these ad samples in this slide which I have been sharing with you. So here are some examples. Social media advertisement is on rise, and the popular segmentation and targeting capabilities make it work for a lot of developers. And companies like Facebook, Twitter, Google have shown greater growth in the revenue from the mobile app install campaigns. So here are some examples of how the campaigns have helped, and King reached more than 100 million people for their app Candy Crush Soda Saga using Facebook's video advertisement system. Lion Mobi got 20% higher engagement from users acquired from the Facebook app install ads. Bilbacho, an Indian-based company, got 56% growth in the app installs using Twitter ad campaign. And Wastepark got 83% lower cost per install using Twitter campaign compared to other marketing channels. So then comes the referral marketing. So it's about virality. And so you could see in the screen that that's a simple flow of how this viral chain works. So someone installs your app, then he creates something within your application and he shares that in social media. So the friend of his view the creation, and then he clicks on the link, installs your application, and then he creates something. So it's a cycle of events which can build the virality of your application. As rightly said by Mr. Ryan Holiday, the author of a popular book, Hacker Marketing, says virality is not an accident; it's engineered. And 92% of the customers believe the recommendations from friends and family over all forms of advertisement. 64% of the marketing executives indicated that they believe word of mouth is the effective form of marketing. And in the example, you can note that Runkeeper is a fitness application which utilizes the user-generated content by sharing runners' success stories on social media. Post before pictures, blogs, training programs, and funny pictures of run calligraphy created by the users for their application. So Twitter co-founder Mr. Jack tweeted about the launch of the Instagram app. So that's an interesting story, and it's created the Instagram to gain initially momentum going. So then comes the search advertisement. And there are a lot of universal app campaigns for AdWords to help advertisers to reach wider audience across Google Search Ad Network. And on AdMob platforms, you can also run ads in YouTube and Google Play as well as mobile sites. Display ad install campaigns allow you to show ads of your app on display network inside the other application and websites. So Google is now adding a second ad slot in Google Play Store search results on some non-branded and broad queries, for example, travel app, or it could be like a financial application and things like that. So now see, right now you are fighting for the second slot in organic search results, and now it's going to be fighting for the third slot, as the first two slots are for the advertisement. And no wonder they could also launch other native advertisement formats, including video ads in the search results itself. So it's going to be like a search for the first place using the Google Play Store search results as well. Apple has also recently announced search ads. It's going to be getting rolled out in the United States as a beta version in October 2016. And Google is planning to launch the trial run ads for the application in the search results to let users play or use the application even before installing it. So then comes the advertising outside the web using the traditional channels, including videos in TV and ads in newspapers, magazines, etc. So before starting with it, you can also promote your app offline, including the local events, community organizations, and QR codes can be leveraged for using it. Traditional media's decline can be partially blamed by its prosperity to be interruptive, boring, and bland. Nevertheless, when done right, TV commercials and print collaterals can still be effective in marketing your application. So advertisers had to spend part of their expenses on traditional advertisements, TV and billboards. So since these advertisement channels are quite costlier, this can be considered only when the developer is having a huge budget on spending in these channels. On a monthly basis, 85% of the smartphone and tablet users revealed that they use their device as a second screen while watching the television. Consider that your potential customer is having a smartphone or tablet as a second screen, and they view your advertisement and they go ahead and download the application. The conversion ratio can be quite huge. And television advertisement also allows developers to reach the target audience at the ideal moment, as per what we had discussed here. So, and following that, if you could see, this slide is about calculating the lifetime value and to strategize the long-term success for your application. So this is simple math about the app business. Installs into monthly retention, you have the monthly active user stats, and then the monthly active users into monthly average revenue for the user provides you with the revenue of your application. And then comes the LTV of the users. LTV is the ability to monetize your users. It includes all, including the monetization, retention, and virality. So that is how you are able to monetize your users with high lifetime value. Churn rate is also an important factor to be measured, since when churn is there, users stop continue using your application. So churn rate is a percentage of customers who are lost over a period of time. So average revenue per user is important, and LTV is being calculated by average revenue per user into 1 by churn. So that is a simple formula to be calculated. And then comes the customer acquisition cost. So customer acquisition cost is the total cost of sales and marketing by percentage of customers being acquired through this channel. So LTV helps you to make better decision, better use of your marketing budget and know where to invest and where not to invest. So balancing LTV and customer acquisition costs is to ensure you get better profit. So LTV is to CAC ratio should be greater than 3:1 ratio to get better monetization. Then comes the app retargeting, and it's then way of winning back the users for your application. So more than 75% of the app downloads who open an app once and then never come back. So that shouldn't happen for your application. So quick tips about retargeting is that match offers to personas. You need to group your users and target the offers accordingly. And you should know which ad creatives works and what are the best practices for their particular ad. Then use deeper links, not redirect all the customers to your homepage, direct them to the particular offer related page. Then you have to be creative with the channels, check which channel works well in the well for your application. And when you're doing retargeting, for example, shopping related applications can always leverage the power of Twitter and Facebook in retargeting, and YouTube video ads can also certainly be considered. Then comes the push messages. According to Localytics, push messages boost app engagement by 88%. 65% of the users return to the app within 30 days when the push is enabled. Coming to the in-app messaging can boost your user retention by 3x, and apps that send in-app messages show 2 to 3.5% higher user retention and 27% more app launches than the app does not. So here is a simple trick you need to deploy in your app user body, that the users have to be sure about what to do within your application. So if you want to highlight a particular offer, you can leverage the power of in-app messaging. And when you want to bring your customers back to your application, you can always use the push messaging. So you need to be very much flexible in running experiments. So every user acquisition campaign is different, and you need to come back and adapt to the situation. Re-engage the user and retain the audience on the optimization. Here is an example of how lookalike audience campaign in Facebook works, and you need to create audience accordingly. So here is an overview of the webinar, and successful developers get better users at lesser cost. So focusing on organic usage, user acquisition is key, and entice users who pay for premium upgrades on or in-app purchases. Tweak your user acquisition efforts to reduce both costs and improve LTV. Positive ROI is the real name of the game. Segmentation and targeting is your safest bet to reach positive ROI. Apps that are able to generate more revenues from the users than it costs to buy the users enter positive cycle of the user acquisition, in which the more users buy and the more profit the app generates. So with this, we come to the end of this webinar, and you can reach us through the below mentioned Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google Plus. And I would like to take a couple of questions asked by the audience on right moment. And Alfred has asked which of the user acquisition channels works. So to be honest, it depends on the application. If your app has a wider audience in like casual games, channels like Incentivize the networks can actually help. And then comes the Facebook and Twitter user acquisition channels. And if your application is primarily a shopping-oriented application, you can always target a video advertisement and leverage the power of video ads in Instagram, Facebook, and also YouTube. So that's how it works actually. And so Christina is asking about increasing the LTV of your application. Yeah, so that's what we have been discussing in the previous slides, and LTV can be increased by bringing back your customers, retaining them, and making them share what they create within your application with their friends, so that the viral impact can be created, and it continues as a cycle. So I see that there have been quite a few questions. Since we are running out of time, let's take these offline, and we'll be sharing the information about the other questions in email and also through our social channels. Stay tuned for more updates, and it's our pleasure to host you all guys here. Thanks a lot, and stay tuned for more updates, and then we will be announcing our upcoming webinar shortly. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.